So, good morning, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of the Lumiere Learning Monday. Our guest today is Malavika Athavale, nutritionist and a trained dietitian. She practices her own practice, Eatrite, and she has been in the wellness space now for over 20 years with a flourishing practice both in India and overseas. So, welcome, Malvika, and thank you for being our online guest today. We've been an in person guest, so very happy to have you here.
Good morning, Deepa. This is wonderful. It's been so many years that we've been connected. So many years that we have known each other, and I remember coming to your office in person in the past. And this definitely looks lovely, and I'm so looking forward for adding a little value to everybody's health, mind and body more so, and which is very very important today.
Absolutely. So when you say nutrition today, it's not just restricted to the food we take in, but the thoughts we take in and the air we breathe in and the kind of the kind of environment we create for ourselves at work and at homes, which also contribute in a huge, in a bigger way, probably, Malvika. So, and a lot of things that you're working with. Tell us a little bit about how you got interested in this subject, and you are a relentless learner. So what are those uh, milestones, big and small, and maybe we'll set a context for all of our audience about the work Malvika does, but a little bit about the person she is.
Lovely. Before I get this started, you said relentless learner. I think we resonate here, Deepa. It's the same story when it comes to you, and it's amazing. How you keep learning each day, adding new things. It's lovely. Whenever I talk to you, I take home something new from you. So that applies to you as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Coming to us, or rather coming to me. So this journey goes back way back now, almost 23 years. Yeah, 2001. I passed out. I took up nutrition because I did my home science graduation and then post graduation, and I figured that somewhere I felt I had a liking and wanted to know a little bit more about food, diet, nutrition, and that's how the journey started. But I was very clear from the beginning that I wanted to get into the clinical space. The reason being, you know nutrition, illness, that diseases, sickness, everything is so connected. But somewhere, whenever you go to a doctor, the first thing he'll do is give you a prescription of medications. And I remember, since back then when I was in college, I felt if we had something in the house, or rather when I grew up, my aji would always say, adi घरातल्या गोष्टी करून बघ, मग go to the doctor. And somewhere I felt that was so right, and that's how this whole thing about learning more started. And then I started my journey with Tata Cancer. I got into I was lucky to get into the gastrointestinal department at Tata Cancer, where diet and nutrition really really plays a very very important and a big role. And I figured that GI, which is your main and the major part of your survival, your being every day, if that is healthy, everything else falls on track. And that was my base. I worked there. I published a few papers when I was at the Tata Cancer, so it was like a more of a clinical research nutritionist job. And thereafter I moved to a preventive healthcare setup because I figured that I wanted to have a balance of both. And after that, there was I'm sorry, Deepa, you can hear me, right?
Yes, please go on.
Okay, all right, sorry. So after that, it was, I felt that the preventive healthcare along with clinical, that was the combination that I worked on. And I was lucky. I kept getting avenues which kept opening when it came to Parkinson's, when it came to Spastic Society, when it came to pediatric nutrition. I was on the board of a school, and suddenly I started learning in every department, and how important it was to kind of put nutrition for better health. And every day my thought of why I started this journey just became stronger. And then I started my clinic Eatrite, which happened in almost 2005. 2005, 2006. Yes, and since then, it's been a great journey, because in Eatrite I figured that, okay, apart from clinical nutrition, I wanted also to do some amount of corporate work, because people who go to work don't really have time for themselves, don't really have enough. Rather, they don't prioritize themselves, is what I started feeling when at the clinic. And I started going to companies, started consulting at companies, and that gave another avenue for me to kind of spread this nutrition importance. So by the time now, I mean, last year I got certified as an IBS nutritionist, because again, in the journey, even at the clinic, which is now almost 17, 18 years old, I figured that the number of IBS cases started rising, and started rising uh, in like really higher numbers than what really I thought they could. And I figured that if I had a certification, that would help me to deal with such cases a lot better and see the result. So every stage and every journey or every project that I took, it kind of went back and said, okay, the thought that you started this journey was perfect, and this is the place you gotta be. And more so every single day, right, Deepa? It's such a beautiful thing. There is something or the other which tells you that, okay, just because if you eat right, if you think right, and if you align yourself and center yourself, your day just flows by beautifully.
Yeah.
And it's just becoming stronger and stronger by the day. And that's how my journey has been.
Yeah. In fact, Malvika, we've spoken with you when you came and talked about elderly health.
Yes.
And you also talked in the context of children. But I
Yes.
think a bulk of people that you see in your clinic, like you said, are the working age group, which
Absolutely.
really probably is reached a point which is more needing some curative interventions because something was neglected or they didn't listen to their body's signs. So tell me a little bit about when does a person come and take an appointment to at Eat Right and come and talk to you, because you
Okay.
consult with some of the big names in the corporate world also. So tell us
Yes.
a little bit about what
Sure.
what has happened to them before.
Okay, so I'll be very honest. Today, after COVID, people have gotten a little bit more conscious. At least,
Okay.
if they see a reason, they will come and make a call, or they will at least try and approach you.
Mm-hmm.
Before COVID, things were very different, Deepa. People would come to me only when there was a prescription given, or when the doctor said, "Okay, your sugars seem to be, tripping a little higher. You are in the pre-diabetic stage." Or females mostly would, the periods would kind of start going up and down, delayed cycle, missed cycles, or acne, or multiple reasons, and then they would think that, okay, maybe I need to see a nutritionist. But today I like see a mix. I see the ones who really need it clinically, and I see also a few who will want to connect with me and say, okay, Malvika, I think it's high time we streamline. We are touching 40, and we don't know how it's going to be down, because COVID just taught us that things can just happen. So just
Wow.
streamline our lifestyle, get us our discipline, get us good nutrition. But like you rightly said, so my core is 25 to 45. And sadly, what happens, Deepa, that's such a beautiful age bracket. I always say that, but somewhere people are just too busy in that age bracket. You're either setting your career, or you've already got into that and you want to grow, or you're getting married, or if you're married, you're planning a baby, or if you have a baby, you're behind, managing your house, your work, your baby. And then suddenly after 40, you're in the menopausal bracket. So for me, 25 to 45, if you'll ask me personally, I call them the golden years. People call them
Wow.
the stressful years. People will say, oh no, Malvika, you know what? It is the worst. It is so much. But I say, you know what? This is your foundation. If you do this right, till 70, you're not going to need anybody. So
Right.
25 to 45. And again, Deepa, one doesn't need to do major changes. I understand everybody is busy. I know travel in Mumbai is not at all easy. It's hard. I mean, I juggle every day to get my daughter from school. We do a metro, we do a rickshaw, we do too many things. So everything is going on in everybody's mind. But making few changes, a little bit of a walk, maybe increasing your water, maybe consciously planning that little salad. Trust me, it's not asking for more. It's about prioritizing yourself. and doing it, rather than at 50 or 45 when you do your regular health checkups, which is part of your routine from companies that you work. And then you are like, okay, it's pretty alarming. Oh my God, I need to see somebody. And then you have to get on like a very strict regime. You need not do that. Don't come at 45, or don't work on yourself at 45. The golden years are not only for earning money, it's also for your health investment, but we miss that bus. And
Yeah.
then it's too late to kind of reverse. Not late for me in the clinic, there's nothing late. There is nobody who's fat. I'll be very honest, I'm a very different nutritionist. My outlook, or my belief is very different. I always believe whenever you've understood, it's the beginning, it's never late.
Beautiful.
Okay. I mean, even if at 60 you tell me, Malvika, whatever's happened, it's okay. But now what is it? Let's work.
Let's
Somebody
look
comes and
forward. Let's look ahead.
perfect. So somebody will come and say, oh, I'm at 120. This was not meant to be. I can't even walk. I said, doesn't matter. Get up and walk till your car. You have walked. Add more 2 steps. You have walked. It's not that you cannot walk. You cannot do. That doesn't exist in my dictionary. You have
Yeah.
options and you got to work. So yes, 25 to 45 is the most crucial. Two things one needs to really keep it in mind now that I'm addressing here. I need to be very vocal about it. Is your hormones. Don't take them for granted. And
Hmm.
again, Lumiere being a very female dominated,
Yeah.
and a female, group team, I will always say, do not ignore the signs your body gives. Your body speaks, Deepa. You will be surprised how much your body keeps giving you those little cues, and you ignore. And you say, oh, maybe मैं सोई नहीं, oh, मैंने पानी नहीं पिया, oh, मैं ना थक गई थी. We have answers ready.
Yeah.
Listen to that and work on it immediately, especially the hormones. And then followed with the hormones now, because PCOD and PCOS is on the rise. We see sugars, we see pre-diabetics as early as 31, 32. And that's not the age. I mean, I saw somebody who got a bypass at 41. I have people at 28 and 29 hypertensive on a very high medication dose. So I tell them my goal is going to be to wean you off from medication to get your discipline back. So
Okay.
it's very important. And these are small things, they are not major. But at 60, they become major, because then suddenly you got to cut off sugars, cut off salt, cut down your oil, restrict your outings. You don't want to do that at 60. You want to relax, you want to have a good time. So do it now. So
Correct.
25 to 45, work, get married, have babies, do everything. But don't forget, you be
Yeah.
on the first burner, not the fourth. This is what we do as females. But
Correct.
even males today, okay, I'm not going to be here. I mean, I see equal number of males, and
Okay.
people are being very, very, they do contribute. Like, for example, in my house itself, Anish, I mean, it's amazing. So it was my daughter's birthday yesterday, Myra's birthday, and today we are celebrating her birthday. And so he's been so hands on, Deepa, and he's there. He comes early. He knows, because he knows I work too. He works too, but we need to be there. So even male, yeah, even in the clinic when I hear, they are equally being a part in the house and family. But again, they are also on the second burner or the third. Don't do
Right.
that. Prioritize. Very, very important.
And since you mentioned your family, you've also been a caregiver to the elders, to your in-laws.
Correct.
You also participate with your parents as
Yes.
elders. So like the simple things that you're talking about, because I do want to leave with some small practices that people can do.
Perfect.
And we must cover that before we close this
Perfect.
session. You mentioned irritable bowel syndrome, and that is, I guess, gender agnostic, right?
Perfect.
What age does irritable bowel syndrome IBS start, and what are some of the reasons why we as a people in India more uh,
Growth.
likely to be, yes, having this problem? So is
So
it a
Deepa,
genetic thing
yes,
also?
I was just going to come to. So in India, what we are figuring, so we still have limited research for Indians. I'll be very honest. There is a lot of ongoing research going on. If you'll read a little outside, you have tons and tons of papers, talking about it. Again, when we are speaking about gender, funnily, females have a higher percentage for IBS compared to males. I believe, and like 100, 200,000% agree, it is the stress, which is the first reason for your gut to start slowing down. Now, when you spoke about, managing, senior citizens, your parents, your family, uh, again, as a female, uh, if you take me as an example, I mean, everybody is an adult, everybody knows what's right, what's wrong, but still, you being like the center point, I have a 12, I have a 45, me and my husband, and I have the 80. So I have like three brackets, multiple things in this brain of ours. We have like chalked pie chart happening, this is how it begins. Okay, so when it comes to IBS, it's about struggling managing multiple things, and which comes only with discipline. Okay, now the symptoms typically begin with constipation and loose motions. Okay,
Okay.
so which
It
means
could be both constipation and loose motions both. Okay.
it's a
To the same
combination
person.
to the same person. So there'll be days when you're constipated for like 3 to 4 days, and then suddenly you will have a gush of loose motions because you need to clear your path, right? These are the simple symptoms it will begin with, and then bad acidity, bad gas. I mean, all the things related to your GI. Now, what's important here? The minute you see this, please consult your doctor. Please work on your fluids. Please work on your timings for your meals. Please work on sleep, which is again not spoken about. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Somewhere deep, sleep is not given an importance and priority. So, my take home today would be three major things. Okay. First, prioritize yourself, which is very important. If you do that, you will start thinking about everybody. Second, work on your meal timings along with your water and fluids. And in that itself, I'll give importance to sleep. I mean, that day I read in the newspaper the Zero the founder had a heart attack. I mean, he's one of the most fit guys I know of, and I've heard about and read about, a young guy. But what he exactly said was, we do not give importance to sleep, and that is very important. We need to unwind. We need to calm down. That's the most important thing. And third, you know, there are going to be problems. There is going to be an issue. There are going to be stress levels. But trust me, breathe in and breathe out. Very important. So maybe focus on exercise. Important. Your input and your output. So if you feel you're working 12 hours, remove 20 minutes to start your day or end your day with some walking. Maybe one bus stop walking. Maybe your staircase up and down 10 steps. Don't overdo it. Something is better than nothing. And these are very practical things, Deepa, that we all can do. And trust me, it's not asking for more than 24 hours.
You mentioned the word discipline several times in the course of
Yes.
these last
Yes.
few minutes that we've been talking.
Yes.
Uh, what are the small things like in terms of what you eat,
Yes.
how you eat, when you eat? Does all of
Yes.
that come as part of the nutrition guidance, Malvika?
Absolutely. So again, quickly to give a gist, catch four pillars which are important for you. Okay. If you're in a desk job, if you're in the field job, whichever kind of a job profile you are, pick up four pillars. First, discipline comes with timings, because the minute you set your timings, you are already on the clock, you're on the discipline mode. Try and sleep at a decent hour and wake up at the same hour. Okay. That's again discipline. Third, carry your meals wherever you go, however, how much little more, as per your convenience. कुछ नहीं तो salad carry करो, केला खरीद लो, apple खरीद लो, कुछ भी. These are practical. Nothing is messy there. Keep it. Discipline comes there. Okay, very important. And fourth, let there be some disconnect and connect when it comes to work, family, yourself. Let there be a beautiful, like Deepa, with you I see always you enjoy playing golf. I mean, you do make point for that. You enjoy reading, you do give that time for that, right? And we all should learn these little things, that it's important, and that's the fourth most important thing we need to do. And this all comes in discipline. And if you have these basics right, no, your reports, your health, everything is going to be fine. And it's important. Like, I work only 8:30 to 1:30, and that's all. After that, it's time for Myra, my daughter. I enjoy being her mother. I wind up my day at 10 o'clock, come what may, unless it's an emergency or there is a planned event or a planned evening. I wake up at 5:30. Everything is on track, everything is on discipline, but it makes my day beautiful, and I'm able to deal with anything really well. It
Yeah.
doesn't irritate me, it doesn't bother me, and I'll be like, okay, it's okay. Breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah.
It's all because of this.
Malvika, I'm also hearing a lot of people say, eat when you're hungry, eat when you're happy. So what is your view on that? Eat, were you happy when you ate? So eat when you're happy, eat when you're hungry, as practices. And I'm sort of, is it like a new agey thing?
It is the new generation, the new age thing. But honestly, One quick thing I'll tell you, our body cannot differentiate between hunger, satisfaction, thirst. The ghrelin and the leptin are these two hormones which balance many things for you. Sadly, sometimes we are not able to discipline and we are not able to understand the difference. And we eat for our satisfaction, our happiness, sometimes stressed, sometimes happy, sometimes sad. It could be any reason. The first thing we want to do is eat. So, no, I believe if there is a reason, you wake up when the sun is on the head, within 2 hours, get your first meal when the sun is out. Then in the afternoon, when the sun is on the head, within 2 hours, have your lunch because it's right here. You don't want any pitta, acidity happening. In the evening, sunset, within 2 hours, finish your dinner meal. Even if you follow the nature rule, Deepa, you are there. You don't need anything more.
So
So
this is very
practical
important. Yeah.
and basic and something you can stick by. You don't need to worry.
Yeah. In terms of, the relationship with food, is that also something that you talk to your patients with? I mean,
Yes.
there's a big part of, how people
Yes.
uh, relate with food and how do they use it, maybe as a crutch or maybe as a stress buster, or,
Mostly
sometimes
they
just
do
mindless eating, or, like they say, binge watching. Is there also like binging on food?
eating.
Yeah.
Yes. So mindfulness, again, that is something I teach when people come to the clinic. I always tell them, be mindful of what goes in. We need to eat everything. I know. We have gone for a wedding, we have to eat it. This whole thing that we have, fair enough. You
Yeah.
have to eat if that's the belief you have. You can eat little. Na? Nobody's telling you to eat four puris. You can have half a puri. You can still taste everything. You can still eat everything. So it is about being a little mindful. Now, when does all this come, Deepa? The minute you are disciplined, the minute you have your systems in place, the minute you know this is what I need and this is what I need to do. And then everything is just beautiful. Trust me, everything just falls on track. And I see this time and again. The people who come to the clinic and say, no, Malvika, we won't be able to do this. It's a diet. I'm like, it's not a diet. It's about you and your health. It's about taking this journey together so we reach a goal we are looking at. And it will happen. And it happens in 4 weeks. You see this, and people say, you know what? We are happy with that one slice of pizza. We don't need the second. I'm like, we have won. We have won there.
In
This,
terms of the food that you prepared at home versus
yes,
food that is outside, let's
correct.
look at the cafeterias, because you've
Yes,
also been a consultant to corporates, and you've
correct.
also looked at what are the nutrition gaps over there. So you want to talk a little bit about what is happening there, and have you been studying currently what is
Yes, yes. So
it
it's
that people
beautiful. So
need?
there is a need again coming there. So I just had a call from one of the corporates in Pune and Hyderabad, and they're like, Malvika, will you just come on board and start planning the menu for us a little bit, because
Right.
we are feeling that there is a need. Okay, because again, people are spending long hours at work. They rely on the cafeteria, so it's
Correct.
important that you start eating, good meals there. But I again tell people, if you can carry meals from home, if you have the source, if you have the access, please do it. If not, again, let's get practical. Eat at the cafeteria. Maybe carry a fruit and a salad from home. Maybe a glass of buttermilk from home, wherein you're not making an effort of cooking, making, and then you're not saying, oh, मुझे बाहर का खाना पड़ रहा है मालविका, मैं क्या करूं? नहीं ना, खाओ बाहर का. घर से 3 हेल्दी चीजें लेके जाओ. The minute you balance it, you are in a win-win situation. So yes, it is important for the cafeterias to start working, and companies have started working. There will be some amount of junk food, but there will be a balance with like a sprout salad or a fruit plate available. There are good companies who are also offering good, healthy, nutritious meal options, like buttermilk is available, but bananas are available, soup is available. So people can balance it well. So yes, घर का खाना, if you'll ask me, is the first priority. But if you cannot do that, eat at the office, but carry things like a tomato or a gajar which doesn't get spoiled, a banana or an apple, ready, easy, can go into your laptop bag. Maybe a glass of buttermilk, maybe a liter of buttermilk, make it and keep it previous night and carry that and keep sipping that throughout the day, so that your consumption of outside meals is reduced, your health is better, and you've balanced it with healthy meals like fiber coming through fruit and through salad.
Yeah. Wonderful. Alvika, the other thing I want to ask you today, there's like a ton of food startups,
Yes.
doing very, very many things. If
Yes.
if Malvika had to really say, wish list, now that you know
Yes.
what your patients need, and
Yes.
what's good for health and good. Is there something that you want to sort of say is a low hanging fruit that is not easily accessible? And I know this is just an off the cuff thought that came to my mind, that if there was something that had to be custom built for you to help your clients, is there something that you can think of, saying, there's a this is there but it's either too unaffordable, or this is there it is not accessible, or this is there that doesn't necessarily have all the right goodies? Is there, do you have that thought come into your mind when you see your patients?
So can I tell you honestly, I always keep telling. So I have a lot of companies who come to me at their R&D stage. Okay, they'll
Okay.
come to me for sampling, they'll come to me for trials, and they'll say, Malvika, will you like to kind of, add your value? I always say, let's try and go back to our roots. Let's try and go back to where we grew up. We are missing
Okay.
that bus, Deepa. We have all grown up. Like, I remember growing up with ladu, chakli, chivda, all in the house, and it was all healthy. Nothing came in our way. We grew up beautifully. But today, that same ladu, chakli, chivda is, getting made with so much of fancy stuff added. We don't need that. We need very basic stuff. We need very ready to go basic foods. And if that can come in, Deepa, trust me, that's all that I need from food companies. And so there's this one khakra brand that came to me, and khakra is supposed to be the very healthy things, but I never believed it was healthy because the amount of oil that went in. So we technically, in our diet community, we would say it is nothing but like a fried roti or a fried papad. So but this
That's
company,
interesting that you say that, huh?
yes, because the amount of oil that goes into the kneading of that dough to make that crispy khakra, we miss that. And it's like tons of oil. It's like eating a puri. So there
Oh,
is this company who is, tweaked on that fat percentage. They've got it a little close to near normal. But what they have done beautifully is they've increased the protein percentage in that khakra. So at least even if you're eating something which is so-called unhealthy as per the nutritionist, they have balanced it with good, peanut flour and, besan and moong flour and stuff, and they've balanced that khakra really well by kind of increasing the protein value. So I'm okay because it is your comfort food that you've grown up on. If you're a Gujarati, you love eating your khakra and chai in the morning. You can't
correct.
stop that. So yes, go back to basics. I will say, rather than this all this, these puffs and ready to eat snacks, trust me, go back to your basics. Go back to what comforts you. And even if it is unhealthy as per you, okay, a piece every day is not going to be unhealthy. A
Yeah.
bowl full is a problem. So discipline again, mindful eating again, all of these roots there, Deepa.
So portion control and awareness becomes important. Tell me a
Very,
little bit about nuts, because I know
yes,
nut purchase has been going through the roofs post pandemic.
very high,
So
very
how
high.
important are they? And then, what is the kind of nuts, and what is again the portion, the right portion for a working person?
So people are overdoing the nut bit. I'll be very honest.
They
People
are?
suddenly feel, yeah, they are. I mean, there are people who will say, oh, we are vegetarians, we don't get proteins. So hum bol bhar ke nuts khate hain, theek hai. What happens to the fat? Nobody's talking about the fats.
Ah,
Nobody's talking about the trans fats. Nobody's talking about balancing those nuts. 15 nut khane ki zarurat nahi hai. 15 almonds khati ho savere. You don't need that. So what I tell people, on an average, any working individual or even a regular average 25 to 45 bracket, typically if your parameters are healthy or not healthy, anywhere from 6 to 8 assorted nuts a day is a healthy consumption for us Indians today, keeping in mind where we are coming from. This used to be 10 to 12 earlier, Deepa, used to be 12 to 14 earlier, but now because of the consumption of outside meals which are laced with a lot of trans fats and saturated fats, the natural fats we need to come, kind of restrict and but still have it. So 6 to 8 nuts assorted again is always very, very healthy.
also, in terms of the quantum of food, like a lot of times in India we eat bigger meals with the family in the evening,
Correct.
because workplace,
Absolutely right.
it's like you're not sort of with your family, so it's
Correct.
also a way of family bonding. So how
Very
do you balance that aspect, which is a strong cultural aspect, with the healthy part of eating by 8 o'clock? Or
Yes. So what I tell people is that I know this is very common, Deepa. Everybody wants to eat together, meet at the dinner table. By the time they really come home, eat. It's almost 9:30 these days for people. So what I tell them is that I understand you want to stick to your roots. I know you want to have your roti, sabzi, dal, chawal, everything coming on the table. So can't we have days and maybe 2 days a week or 3 days a week? Swap that roti with maybe a jawari ki roti or maybe a nachni ki roti. Okay. Maybe swap the rice with a dalia or a lapsi. So what
okay.
we basically do, give practical tips. So you continue eating together. but at least 2 3 times a week, eat something more nutritious, more healthy. And because everybody is eating together, everybody ends up eating that. So
Yeah,
that's how you have to balance. You can't tell them stop eating. They'll
correct.
listen to me 2 days, third days they'll say it's not happening, right? So then I work out with these options, and that's how we sustain.
So two last questions. One is about milk and the need
Yes.
for milk, because that's again a big cultural thing. Like in the North Indian homes, doodh, and even like you mentioned, buttermilk, for instance. So, what is the way? What is your take on dairy? That's one thing, and the second one is meat. Poultry and eggs. So maybe just touch upon those two.
Sure. So when it comes to milk and milk product, huge controversy. I mean, there'll be pediatricians, doctors saying, "Oh, your body cannot digest milk." I am old school of thought, Deepa. I believe, because I believe in portion control. I believe in moderation. I believe we need things. Okay. If not milk, I am in favor of dahi and buttermilk, unless yes, you've been proven to have gut issues. If you have those, it's a different story. But dahi and buttermilk, if you will go down and keep reading, the amount of good it does to your digestive system is beyond all this research that we are talking today. Okay.
Okay.
So, yes, I'm in favor of milk. Yes, I'm in favor. I am not one of those. If somebody cannot afford, for example, I see different strata. I see people who also cannot afford. So, they'll come and tell me, किसी ने बोला था oat का milk लेना है. They cannot afford an oats milk. It's okay. So, I tell them, अगर digestion issue है, हम dilute कर देंगे. पानी डाल देंगे थोड़ा सा, but whatever you are taking, work around that. So when it comes to Indians, when it comes to Maharashtrians, Gujaratis, North Indians, dahi, chas, doodh is a staple, and I am in favor. I will never say do not have it unless you're clinically not required to have it.
Okay.
Okay, so I am in favor of that. Now secondly, coming to non-vegetarian food, I will always say red meat, let it be on the last list of yours. So which means if you are a regular red meat eating person who consumes very often, cut it down to as little as once a month. Okay, it has
Okay.
to be that lesser. Secondly, all the frozen foods or something which is the cold cuts, which is again getting very common today, sausages, salamis, bacon, ham, all of this are in the freezers of people, again once a month technically, unless it's absolutely on the go, there is nothing available, and that was the quickest thing, Malvika, we could do it. Fair enough. Third, chicken. Okay, once a week, I have no problem as long as it is properly cooked in the house and not laced and fried like a KFC. I'll be very honest with you. By the way, even Myra loves KFC. Even she's given KFC, but there is a limitation as to how much you can eat foods like these, which are deep fried.
So
Okay.
you cannot say that I will only eat chicken in the night and I will not eat anything else because I'm getting my protein in that way.
So balance that with good fiber. Only protein can't function. You need some amount of fiber, you need some amount of fat. So you need a combination. Don't eat the carbohydrates. I'm okay with that. But manage your portions. What people do, because I'm not eating roti rice, मैं आधा किलो chicken खाऊं. That's not how it goes. And the chicken remains at 200 grams only. That's all you can eat if it's only the chicken. If you're eating with the carbohydrates, 100 grams. That's all your body needs. So again, discipline, portion. And finally, I am in favor of eggs. If if you count that as a non-veg meal, then I would, if you are healthy and if you're an Indian and if you do consume eggs, I would definitely want everybody to eat one egg a day. It's absolutely fine.
And
Even
not this white and yolk and
unless you
nothing.
need more eggs and you believe that you're working out and you need enough proteins and you're not, then I say one yolk a day and three whites a day. If you're working out enough, if you're doing weight training, and if you're physically active, then this is a healthy norm that I practice.
Lovely. Amazing, Malvika. I think that was really very useful, and I kept it tied to the working class,
Yes.
the
Yes.
population that you see more. And
Yes.
you've given a lot of inputs to us for the individual, for the family, and importantly, the points you make about portion control and mindful eating,
Correct.
and just sort
Correct.
of being going back to roots.
Yes. Very important. I wish we just kind of stick to these basics, Deepa, and we all will be good. We all will be good. It will just keep us in a better space. We'll eat what makes us happy. We'll function better, sleep better, and it's a win-win for all of us.
So Malvika's taught us how to eat right, and if there are more inputs that you need individually, you can access her. She's active on Instagram, and she also uh, is accessible through the website and things. So, Malvika, thank you once again for this really nourishing talk.
It was a pleasure, Deepa. Thank you so much for having me over. Look
Thank
forward
you.
for many more. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Deepa.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye bye.